everybody. It is Interesting Times, episode 5. My name is Gideon Evans, and I'm here with...
Matt Moses. That's me.
The great Matt Moses. Excellent. Well, I can't believe it. We've made it to 5 episodes.
I believed we would.
Yeah, actually, I did too. It's not like...
100.
Yeah, exactly. I shouldn't be.
Yeah, I highly doubt we'll make
impressed.
it to 100. But you know what? If we do, we can play this clip.
What clip?
Me just saying that.
Oh, right.
We'll never make it.
I see. Yeah. All right. Well, how's everything going for you? How's LA?
It's been lovely, although we have a gray day today. My parents are in town from Brooklyn.
Oh, nice.
So that's nice. Yeah.
They're babysitting for the kiddos?
A little bit. Yeah, they are. No, they definitely wrangle them. And the kids are so happy to see them, so...
You try to do, like, date night when they're around and you have a babysitter?
Oh, yeah,
do date
it's,
night? Is that a big thing for you guys?
We have been better about doing that in the past, but lately not as much. Because, I don't know, the kids are at an age where they get upset.
When you leave.
But we are going to do one tomorrow night, actually, because it's our 10th anniversary tomorrow.
Oh, my God. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. Yeah, that's the big news here.
What are you doing?
I don't know. We're going to go to some restaurant, and Lisa, my wife, sent me one that supposedly has a really beautiful view of LA, and I had heard of it before because my congressman, Adam Schiff, had recently posted a picture of him there celebrating his anniversary. So,
oh, wow.
So bring it back to politics. Anyway, I'm not sure we'll go there.
You just want to be Adam Schiff. You're just stalking him, and you're like trying to be Adam Schiff.
I am.
You're, like,
I am very
tailing his car and like wearing combing your hair the way he does, and
oh my God. Well, he is lately constantly encountered by protesters. So I don't know if I want to be.
He wouldn't.
Somebody tailing him. They probably are concerned about that right now.
That's true. That's good.
Sorry to make it. This is just dark. I mean, that's politics. That's what we talk about: is the darkness, the interesting times.
Interesting.
How's your week?
My week is good. I'm just depressed about the Mets. They can't win.
Oh, really? Wait,
the New York Mets.
Has it?
You know?
Has it started yet?
Yeah, they just lost like their 5th game in a row. That's when we're recording it. They have another game this afternoon, and I
forget how early baseball starts.
Well, it's gotten earlier and earlier. It used to be April, and now it starts in March.
Does it? I didn't know. It's just what they play so many games. Do they play more games now than they did in the past?
No, same amount, 162. Well, the COVID
162.
The COVID season they played less though because of COVID. You know.
Yeah. Well, sorry about your Mets, but, that's part of the charm of them, right?
Well, they usually wait a while to break your heart, but now they're just, like, not even playing around. They just want to break our hearts right at the beginning.
I grew up a Yankee fan.
Did you? Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
That's okay. They've had trouble recently, too, though. They haven't won in a while.
Yeah. Well, part of the thing is I feel like you tell people that and they think, oh, you're just this front runner guy. But when I was super into baseball, when I was in elementary and mostly elementary school, they were terrible, like last place year after year.
When I was a kid, I rooted for them when they were terrible, too.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it was like
I feel like it's an inherited thing, though. Like, I got it from my dad. And I think it basically, I guess when the Dodgers left Brooklyn, my dad was pretty young at that point.
Yeah,
I guess, or maybe he was even a child. But anyway, I think his brothers kind of split up between the Yankees and the Mets.
So interesting.
He went Yankees. Yeah.
Usually Brooklyn is sort of like Mets, though, a little, and like the Bronx and Westchester and Manhattan were Yankees. But anyway, we're not going to like parse this. We're not going to solve this issue. Anyway, maybe move the mic a tiny bit away from you. You're kind of like hitting.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I was actually worried it wasn't close enough. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, all right. Well, let's get into it. We have a clip, and there's a new documentary that's, I guess it's out or it's coming out, about Stormy Daniels, the adult film star. Is that the way you is that the kind of the
sex
term?
worker?
I don't know if people would like that term, sex worker, but maybe that is the accurate term.
Yeah, adult film star sounds nicer.
Yeah.
I suppose. It sounds so ancient, though, adult film.
Well, that whole idea of, like, a gentleman's club was always so weird to me. Like, it's anyone but gentlemen, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there are some gentlemen that go there.
Yeah, it is weird. Do they still call them that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They do.
They do, because there's that one you pass by on the, is it the West Side Highway? Mm-hmm. What's that called?
I don't know.
And is that might be labeled a gentleman's club? I forget. The Hustler one.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Isn't that over there?
That is a gentleman's club.
I've never been. I'm just stating it now, okay? But, you know.
I've heard from reliable
I've heard.
sources.
I've passed by it many times. Yeah.
And have not once gone in. I have not gone to the
No,
Hustler
never.
Club.
I mean, you have to really, like, I guess, make plans to go there, because it's so far on the west side. You're not just strolling by it, right?
True. Good point. There's no subway access, really.
Yeah.
You have to walk a few blocks. And on a cold day, that's going to be rough.
Oh, man, it's brutal. Yeah, I've had jobs that are over there that are that far over.
Yeah.
It just get, and it's the winter, and it just gets colder and colder as you get close to the
Hudson.
The Hudson.
All right, let's play this Stormy Daniels. She's just talking generally in this documentary about reliving what happened once it became a big deal that, that it came out that she, was part of the scandal of the hush money. I'm going to have to find the clip a little.
My friend was like, you might actually have a problem. I don't want to scare you, but based on the things you've told me, now you're the whole Republican Party's problem. And they like to make their problems go away. It was really about two things. Trying to keep the story from coming out so that it would not hurt my husband and my daughter and I wouldn't lose my life. And that there would be a paper trail and money trail linking me to Donald Trump so that he could not have me killed. All I had to do was sign this piece of paper and collect $130,000.
I mean, it's so amazing how long she's been in the news. It's just been going on and on and on.
It's remarkable that it's only reached this point. Yeah,
I know,
the saga.
But it's kind of coming to a head, and it's actually the only criminal trial that is going to happen before the election, right?
I didn't know that. Is that true? Has everything else been pushed?
I think everything. There were these civil trials about the Eugene Carroll, and that's what the fraud with the company. But those, the criminal ones with Jack Smith, there's no way that's going to happen before the election. And same with the Georgia one. That's not going to happen.
Oh, really? So, because there's the Washington Jack Smith one, and then there's the Florida one.
Right, the classified documents.
And then there's the Atlanta one, right?
Fannie
Which is
Willis,
not Jack Smith.
And that had a delay because she had this scandal.
I didn't realize that it's definitively now pushed off. It's not happening.
I don't think it's official, but I think everybody realizes that there's no way the timing is going to work.
Yeah.
Well, part of it, too, is that the Supreme Court decided that they're going to wait to rule on this immunity thing.
Right.
Whether Trump has absolute immunity, which is so dumb.
It's an insane thing that they would possibly rule that he did have absolute immunity, because then they'd be in a situation where Joe Biden is president right now. He could just make himself president for life, right? Or some variation of that. And he would have immunity because he was president.
He could have, the CIA take out Trump. And he could not be prosecuted if he had immunity.
Right, or arrest all the Supreme Court justices that he wanted. Like some, insane thing. It just it doesn't make any sense. The whole rule of law collapses.
So anyway, the only criminal trial that is going to have an impact is this Alvin Bragg is the DA in Manhattan, and so it's it's happening in Manhattan. It's going to happen pretty soon. I think in 2 weeks it's going to start. They're going to pick a jury,
Right.
and I think we all kind of laughed a little bit about this whole Stormy Daniels thing, and she kind of talked about having sex with Trump on Jimmy Kimmel and like compared his genitalia to a mushroom.
Right.
And I was like, wow. That was like everyone was just laughing about that. And now it's like, God, she could really change the course of history. Like, she could end up being like a hero. Like, maybe they'll put her on Mount Rushmore. I'm kind of serious. Like,
Yeah.
you know the way like Al Capone ended up going to jail on a tax evasion thing?
Right.
So I think like, the way the world works is just so strange. You just can't predict things. So it could be that like Stormy Daniels is the one that like
Is the one.
yeah, and to quote The Matrix. And that like if that case, if they rule against Trump, I mean, he'd probably have to go to jail, right? Or he'd appeal
Right.
it.
I guess you're right. You know what? I forgot that this could lead to that, because Michael Cohen, his lawyer, who was basically, I guess, the bag man, you might call him, the guy
fixer.
who handled the money,
Yeah.
the fixer, like the in between, the buffer. Got a lot of buffers in the family.
Right.
He to insulate Trump from it. But then what's interesting also is that Trump basically what happened was Michael Cohen paid off the National Enquirer, and the National Enquirer bought the rights to Stormy Daniels' story in a move that's called a catch and kill, which is effectively killing the story, and it's sort of like getting her to sign an NDA. So then Cohen was the one who paid them with his own personal money.
Paid her.
And then Trump.
He paid her.
He paid her.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
he paid her directly? Oh, he didn't pay the...
Yeah. I mean, I think...
Okay.
I think basically Trump, I think the allegation is that the DA is saying that there was a whole scheme going on after...
Yes.
Remember the whole grab... when Trump had the tape come out that said I grab people by the pussy,
Yes.
and that like could have really hurt his chance of winning.
Yeah.
I think the allegation is that Trump and his team were like, this is crazy. There's going to be all these stories coming out that are going to be embarrassing to Trump, just like this what is it, Access Hollywood tape.
Yeah.
And so they came up with a plot to take these stories out of the public. And that was Trump talked to this guy, David Pecker, that ran the National Enquirer. The idea is that, like, the Enquirer would approach Stormy Daniels and say they want the rights to her story. Right?
Yes, they want the rights to her story.
But she doesn't know that they're not going to necessarily print it in their paper. She just knows that they're going to, like, own the rights, and nobody else will own the rights. And then she's not allowed to talk about it either once she sells the rights. So they'll buy the rights, she'll get money, and then they never publish it.
Right.
And so that's the catch and kill.
Although, you know what? So she got this money, which was routed to her.
130,000.
Yeah. And, other funny detail that I hadn't heard before is that she also got some bylines in the National Enquirer as a little, I guess, establishing a journalism career. It's a funny little sweetener to the deal that
was wild. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Did
random.
she actually get them? I know it was promised to her.
Yeah, it says, at least, this source I'm reading, it says she did.
That's wild. And I think one of the important things of this case is that it wasn't just that Stormy Daniels was a one-time thing.
Right.
That there was also this, it was part of a scheme to make all of these stories go away. Apparently there was a doorman at one of Trump's building that had a story that he, like, had a child, you know, out of wedlock or whatever.
Yeah.
And it turned out to not be true, but they were interested in doing the same thing with that guy who was going to tell that
I think they paid
story.
him. They paid him $30,000.
They ended up paying him because it came out that the story was fake.
I thought they had already paid him once it came out that the story was fake, and then it says they tried to get him out of the agreement, which I don't know why they would want to release him from it. And then Trump was like, "Oh no, don't release him from it. Let's wait until after the election."
Oh gosh, now I need to like figure out whether this guy got paid. Anyway, and then there was the Playboy model.
Here, I could just
Karen McDougal.
Yeah, he did get paid. At the CEO's direction, AMI negotiates and signs an agreement to pay the doorman $30,000.
Oh, $30,000. So it wasn't that much money.
No, which is funny too, because to me that's I don't know, more salacious that he has a love child somewhere, because who knows where that leads.
Right. And Trump tried to have the negotiation going on so that it wouldn't happen before the election. So it's
right. Is it okay to say love child, or is that offensive?
I don't know if it's offensive. It just sounds so weird.
Well, it's the great song.
Oh, whose song was that? Not Love Shack. Love Child.
No. Love Child, Never Meant to Be.
I don't know that one. Who was that? Who sang that?
Is it Diana Ross?
Maybe that's right. My wife would know.
Yeah.
Jill would know. So anyway,
I feel like I'm making some other offensive thing now where I'm confusing like two black female singers.
Which one did you say after Diana Ross?
I said Diana Ross.
And who did you say after her?
That was my one guess.
So you didn't confuse. You got.
Oh, it's by the Supremes.
Oh, so you're right.
So yeah, okay.
Oh, nice. And when they sang about Love Child, was that about someone who had a child out of wedlock?
Yes.
Oh,
I think.
Interesting. Wow.
At least that's what I was told.
I feel like today's episode we're raising all these questions. We're not answering any questions. We're just like creating tons of new questions.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get to the truth?
Exactly.
Questions.
So, I mean, a lot of people kind of look at the situation with Stormy Daniels and they're like, so what? It's an affair. He had to pay her off. Like, who were the victims? But I think what Alvin Bragg would say, probably in a more eloquent way than I would, is the victims are the voters, because they didn't get a chance to find out that Trump did this sleazy thing, and that in Trump basically doing this deal to quiet Stormy Daniels, it's election interference, essentially. That like
right. Well, it violates campaign finance laws, right?
I guess so. I guess there are certain laws that, like, if you do something that you know will have a big impact on an election,
right,
that you cannot do that. And I guess they have tons of texts and tons of emails and conversations.
Yeah, it's remarkable, at how poorly they managed to do this and record everything in all these emails and texts. I don't understand. Like, there has to have been a simpler, more clandestine way to cover this up, because I think ultimately it's part of it is they falsified all these business records. Like they said, Trump said he was paying back Michael Cohen for legal work, and that was not the case. Right. It was because he was this bagman, transferring funds, and Trump literally signed the checks to him,
right?
And rather than have the business pay him even. So
but he'll say
it's mind-boggling.
Trump will say if it was for legal fees, what's the big deal? If I'm signing it, I'm paying him for legal fees. And I guess the hush money that was paid to Stormy Daniels was $130,000, but when Cohen got paid, it was for like $400,000 over many installments because there was other money that he was owed, and they kind of broke it down to $35,000 monthly payments. So I guess Trump's case will be, this was just us paying him, but there was no what do you call it when you kind of start up with a lawyer?
There was no retainer. Which I don't even understand. Why didn't they just have a retainer? I guess maybe that would have meant them paying him even more, and he probably has a certain rate to be paid.
I think the job that Michael Cohen did for Trump and for the Trump organization, even though Cohen is a lawyer and knows the law, it wasn't like legal work technically. It was really just like this sort of thing, like a problem would pop up. I think Michael Cohen spent much of his job as Trump's fixer, just like screaming at people. Like he'd call reporters who were going to write a damning piece and just like scream at them and try to make them cry.
That's amazing.
And then if he couldn't make things go away that way, then they just like throw money at the problems. And Michael Cohen would, would negotiate those deals. But I guess it would usually be Trump's company paying the people. And in this case, Trump was like, Michael Cohen, you know, there's a line of credit on Michael Cohen's house that he had to take out, Michael Cohen. So he paid $130,000 through his HELOC, his loan. Yeah. And then Trump paid him back these monthly payments.
That's another part of the story that's amazing to me, that anyone would ever trust Trump, that, I'll pay you back, and there's no contract. I mean, even if there was a contract, you don't. But Trump did pay him back. I guess he was in a very good mood after having won the election. You know, another thing that's funny to me about this whole story is that we did live in a time where we thought something like this would matter to voters. And now, well, it's pretty clear that it doesn't matter.
Like hush money or the sleeping with a porn star?
Sleeping with a porn star. Like even Trump,
Well, everybody, all the people on the conservative side were hating on Bill Clinton for so long for what he did with Monica Lewinsky. She was still just like she seems very nice, you know? And Stormy Daniels was terrible, seems nice too, but people do have all these judgments about porn stars. Anyway, I don't.
Right. Well, you know, since he's so supported by the evangelicals.
Oh, right.
But, you know, that didn't deter them in any way. But, you know, also, I don't really know how Trump gets out of this. I don't see how he could not be convicted. Like, the evidence is there.
It seems like it's there. Everybody's saying that of all the criminal trials, this is the weakest. And I think a lot of people are writing this off. And maybe we should be the only podcast, the only show that's like, he's going to get convicted for this. And maybe it will.
Do you know why they say it's weak?
I think because it just, when you say it out loud, the whole like sleeping with a porn star, paying her money, it's just like, it just doesn't sound significant, like stealing classified documents or causing an insurrection. Like, I think the feeling is like, even though like the election, I think people just don't necessarily feel like there are big victims here.
Oh, I agree that people might not feel that way. And,
other than Melania.
My gosh. I do think that it's the most likely to get played out as Trump is a victim here, that he's being taken advantage, he's being singled out for something that other politicians wouldn't be. Like, I agree with that, but I just think the case from what I've looked at, it seems pretty. I mean, and just simply the fact that Michael Cohen has already gone to jail for his role in this, unless they're able to make a case that it's not tied to Trump, that the mafia kingpin gets off and the lowly soldier is the one who takes the hit. But I don't, he signed the checks.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think there's emails as well, right? Or no?
About him. There's everything. I mean, they should have used like Telegram or WhatsApp, something that was that would disappear after they wrote them. So it's pretty sloppy. Right. But I was going to bring up this idea that Michael Cohen already went to jail, and it's like, because the conservatives always talk about there's a 2-tier system of justice.
And it's like, there is a 2-tier system of justice,
right?
But not the one you're saying there is a 2-tier system of justice of like rich people and poor people
and former presidents. And if Cohen went to jail and then Trump gets, in it, he's let off and the jury chooses not to convict, I mean, that will be very much proof that Trump that Trump is treated better than just your regular guy.
Yeah. And picking this jury is also going to be tough.
Yeah, well, the Trump lawyers were complaining that there's no way they're going to find people that, like, don't know who Trump is or who don't have an opinion or don't know about the case. And I think the judge was basically like, you're right, but we're just going to find people that can be fair, that can say, I'm not, I can find him innocent or guilty depending on the evidence. And I think I kind of want one of the rare people that like jury duty, and I like to think I could be fair. I don't know. It's tough. It would be tough, but I do think they would never choose me for this jury.
No, you think no?
Well, especially after recording this episode.
Right. I don't know.
I worked on that President show with Anthony Atamanuik about Trump.
Love that.
But the
that's
judge,
true.
if that came out in the voir dire, they would not want someone like me. Although there's always like the Trump, they barter, where it's like the Trump people would want certain types and then the other wants certain types, and they'll be like, I'll trade you that guy for that guy.
I mean, and they could just, I assume they'll come out and just ask, how do you vote? What do you think of Donald Trump?
Yeah,
like, what's your opinion?
I remember when I was on a criminal trial on the jury, they were questioning me and they were like, and they probably always ask this, they were like, were you ever a victim of crime? Because they wanted to see how I would treat the criminal. And I was like, in my years ago, I got mugged or whatever. Our house was broken into, and the guy who was representing the guy who was on trial, the defendant, was kind of like, "Did you come in here wanting to put some guy behind bars? Is that your like modus operandi?" I was like, "No. I mean, I could be fair." So.
Oh my gosh, they just they attacked you.
I'm sure they know that type, where there probably are people that come in and they're like, that guy's guilty, like immediately.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I wouldn't peg you for that guy.
No.
I don't know how, they say you're supposed to just look at the shoes, right?
Is that what do you mean?
Well, because if somebody is wearing fancy shoes, then you know that they're wealthy. That's one thing. It's funny. Last time I was at jury duty, I was coming in, and there was this lawyer there coming in, and he had to take off his fancy watch, and he had, a Brioni suit or something, probably. And then the guys, like, letting him in were talking to him about his... I forget what brand of car it was now, but the super fancy where every car is $200,000. Oh, wow. And he was like, "Oh yeah, well I have a collection of them. I have, several." And then I was thinking like, "Oh man, if I go in and they ask me if I have any preconceived notions about the case and this guy is a lawyer on it, I'm probably going to just have to say yes." I don't think it would and I feel bad because you shouldn't judge even rich people like that. But I don't know. It just felt like he was bragging to these, low-level guards about a collection of cars. I don't know. I wouldn't fault him if he had one.
Was that lawyer Jay Leno?
And this is what's funny, is it was Jay Leno
That's so
also.
Weird that he's a lawyer.
It was downtown.
I've been wondering what Leno's been up to since he left the Tonight Show.
He drives around the car. I think, everybody sees him at one point.
Yeah. But he wasn't the lawyer, really.
No.
So anyway, this is pretty interesting. So are you gonna? I guess the documentary, is it on CNN? Do we know?
I don't. I'm sorry. I'm real sorry, everybody.
You don't need to be sorry. Anyway, it seems kind of interesting. It is wild how public opinion basically can laugh about somebody and kind of make them into a cartoon character, which is kind of
like Trump.
Well, yeah, but also like Stormy Daniels. Like, I think everybody loves the whole circus aspect of it.
Yeah,
and they're kind of like, she's a porn star, but like she's a person, she's a human, and she has apparently she has a kid and a husband.
Yeah,
and they've been getting serious death threats. So
yeah. I mean, she does look kind of cartoonish. I mean, in the same sort of world that Trump lives in. But yeah, oh, totally. But then I will say that clip you played before, I thought she sounded really intelligent and smart, and the fact that she wanted some form of paper trail so Trump didn't kill her. I mean, it sounds so outlandish, but it seems within reason, and it seems like a smart reason to do something. I wonder if that was the case at the time, but anyway, that's to game something out like that is really thinking ahead. So
totally,
she's not just some dope, clearly.
Yeah, and she's been through a lot. Like, she had that lawyer. Remember that guy, Michael Avenatti?
Oh yeah.
What was going on there? Was she just suing Trump at that point?
Maybe.
That seems like years ago. Was that even
I know, he went to prison.
Yeah, he went to prison, but then he was going to run for president. He wanted to run for president.
He skyrocketed to success. He was like this guy who was just out there waiting for his moment for the cameras to pay attention to him. And he was great on camera. I was like, this guy is amazing. So sharp and so intelligent. And then, and then flamed out like nothing. I mean, it's like the Sam Bankman-Fried thing. These people that are just skyrocket into the public consciousness and then torn down.
Avenatti,
Icarus.
Well, I was also thinking of Faustian bargain,
Yeah.
With Avenatti, that seems like he must have signed a deal with the devil.
Yeah,
because that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know too many people personally who've signed deals with Mephistopheles, Beelzebub, but I believe that's what happens. You sign the deal. And then, all these great things start happening to you.
Yeah.
You get on TV.
But then the comeuppance happens, too. I thought you got to... What happens, though? You have this great life, and then you go to hell, right? Is that the deal?
If I was going to sign a deal with the devil, I'd make sure I have a lawyer who's experienced in that type of thing. That would be a funny sketch, actually. But it's kind of true. Who the hell would sign a deal? If you're going to sign a deal with anybody, with Disney or another entertainment company, you're going to get a lawyer to look at the deal. And every time you hear about someone who's going to sign a deal with the devil, you never hear that person retained a lawyer to look over the deal with the devil.
It's not smart. It's
not. With the devil, especially. That guy knows what he's doing. And he
does. And you have to wonder, are they reading the fine print? I mean, it's a Willy Wonka situation as well.
Yeah.
With the huge, right? What a scam artist. Let's be honest.
Who, the devil?
The devil and Willy Wonka also.
I don't know about Willy Wonka. How is Willy Wonka a scam artist?
Okay, remember that huge document that they all have to sign?
Yeah.
And you can't even read it,
I
okay?
I see.
And
also,
good day, sir.
Children, that would not be binding if it was children. If they did
This
they
is
have a
an
guardian
excellent point.
sign for them?
Yeah, Uncle Joe signed. Yeah. And the nut guy was like, "Oh, hold on. Don't sign that, Veruca."
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the devil, though. Like, a similar situation, I agree. And you really have to sit down with that. At least these days, what you can do is put it into AI and ask some questions about it.
But I think that if nothing else in this episode, I think learning that you should always get a good representative, lawyer on your side before doing that deal. I think that's a good message to leave people with, probably.
Yeah, it's a bit of learning
and
a lesson,
and hopefully, Stormy Daniels will be on Mount Rushmore.
She may deserve it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the final question is, like, a lot of people, everybody, all of Trump's supporters will vote for him no matter what he does, right? He can shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue, but
don't know about it.
But do you think his voters will essentially desert him if he's found guilty on any of these cases?
I doubt it, and certainly not this one, as you pointed out before. Do I think...
But there have been polls.
I don't know.
And people do say they'll support him through everything unless he's found guilty.
Yeah, the other ones, I feel like maybe there would be a possibility of him losing a few people, but not his base, right? Because it's at least 30% of voters are just locked in for him. Yeah, it's scary.
It is scary. I think there might be certain things that come out in this case that might turn some people against him, just because it does seem like there's a little more to this case than the way the media's been covering it.
Yeah, just in terms of the law, the actual law.
Yeah, and also that it was part of a scheme. It wasn't just a one-time thing. But I guess you never know.
Oh yeah, there were so many moves made here to facilitate this.
And
I guess that,
will it be video?
Sorry,
Will there be cameras in the court in the trial?
I think no, but I could be wrong on that.
I know federal they will not allow cameras. In New York they probably usually don't, but maybe for this one they will.
Oh, yeah, because this is not federal.
No,
this is not federal, right?
State. I mean, it's the Manhattan DA office, which I think is technically state. It's so confusing. Okay. It's very weird.
It is weird. Yeah.
Anyway, we continue to create questions, more questions than answers.
True.
Well, on that note, hope everybody has a great weekend and week, and I hope you do, Matt.
Likewise, Gideon. Have a great one.
Thank you. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time.